Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Namaste, Namaskar, Seva, Sevaro, Suprabhat. Right now, I am already with our live streaming from Nepal, and I want to welcome you, all the beautiful people from the entire universe, from the entire globe. And well, talking about the time right now, it is 5:27, and as usual, as a motivational speaker, lifeline coach, lifeline champion, blogger, YouTuber, your beautiful friend is already here to conduct the show, the Pabi Show. So if you are also interested to know more about the topic that I'm going to right now, or simply you want to talk about that think that the topic or the series that you have selected is then definitely you are welcome and you can share without any sort of hesitation, without any sort of fabrication, and also the twist. Yeah, my friend, today I, as usual, wake up early in the morning. I have just completed my walk, and as soon as I completed my walk, my schedule, I'm already here, and I am very much passionate and very much interested, very much excited to connect with you all beautiful people. And there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of beautiful experiences to be shared. And if you like to hear, if you have time, if you are interested, then I'm already going to the floor, and I'm already here to make sure that I am confident enough to quench the queries, quench the trust that you people are desiring from the previous moment of your time. Today in the morning time, what I was, you know, mm, thinking about is that I just walking along the road, and at that time there was uh, big rainfall. That means cats and dog. And at the time I was carrying umbrella, and there the thought came into my mind that we cannot stop the uh, phenomenon, natural phenomenon that befall us, like death we cannot control. At the same time, we cannot control the functions that are inside in our body, and we cannot control where we are born. Okay, okay. Hi, good morning. Good morning, Gopendraju. And right now I'm having green tea. Usually, my morning schedule starts with uh, coffee with lemon, and then after some few gap, I take green tea, and after having my green tea, I go for you know milk with conflicts, sometimes biscuits. Today I have planned to have biscuits. Yeah, I'm fine. How are you? How are you, sir? Where are you from right now? From where are you watching from? Right now I'm streaming from Nepal, Lalitpur. And as usual, I have, been selecting so many topics that need to be delivered, that need to be shared in this live streaming. So today uh, I have to talk about today death, you know, um, because death, though it sounds harsh, but it is also the harsh reality that we all people must, get into it. Death does not leave anyone alive, Death is the only one, ultimate truth that we all human beings must face, must pass and experience. Experience in a sense that the person who gets death or who dies doesn't experience, but the pain, the suffering that he or she has lived will definitely gonna be, experienced by the near and dear ones of that very individual. Okay. Okay, you are from Thankot. Okay, thank you so much. You are from Thankot, I'm from Lalitpur, and there are might be other listeners, viewers who might be from Nepal and at the same time from different parts of the world or sometimes parts of the country. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Even in the early morning, you have been dedicating your time to watch the show and listen passionately, writing, texting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, Brian. Brian, sure. Good morning. And you are from Dublin, Ireland. Okay, thank you so much for involving and giving your beautiful participation over here. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, Gopindra. Sure. Thank you, Brian. Sure. I'm so much happy that you beautiful people are there for my inspiration. As for the past few years, I've been so much excited to conduct YouTube. Let's say I have been uploading the videos. So I have also, preparing blog for you all people. But because of some of the technical problems that is going inside my iPhone, I've not been able to prepare other videos and other sorts at the same time blog, and because of that very reason I have been conducting this live streaming because my storage iPhone storage is full, and I have tried a lot to manage the space, but still I'm not been able to you know make that very space. Because of that I have to be connected with you, and this is the only last option that is left for me, and I'm coming to the live in this way. And while coming to the live, simply I share the personal issues that might be relatable to all the individuals out there. And at the same time, most of the time I'm very much interested to read many books, especially the books that is fiction. I go for novels, I go for memoir, I go for biographies. At the same time, I go for the research articles, and other so many beautiful and intellectual platform that I choose to make you all people well informed about the information that you might not gone through. So beautiful people, today I have already announced, or I have already stressed that today I'm going to read or let's say I'm going to discuss about the death. Okay, as this is a topic that have the craving on my you know, hate in my heart, as all people most of the time they used to ignore that one. Okay, sir, actually what you are doing, how have you been, are you okay? Actually, I think it sounds like, one-sided talk or one-sided conversation, and because of that you might feel monotonous, or sometimes you feel sleepy as well. But this is the daily schedule, this is the daily routine that I have been following, and this is also one of the personal therapy that I have been going through very persistently and very vigilantly, show that the passion for learning English has been improving a lot, and it has inspired me somehow in my life as well, sir, and all the participants. Okay, you are watching, and right now I need to plunge into the topic that I have to selected for today. You can talk, okay? You can leave the comment, you can jot down your queries, you can also give your active participation, writing your, you know, writing your queries, writing your questions, writing your comment on the, box below. And most of the time, I choose the topic from Wikipedia. I choose the topic from there are very much important about that. Okay, okay. There are a lot of people want to speak much more about, because in the garden there are a lot of flowers with a different nature and with a different colors. So I do not want any people, any person, not people but any person, they are the, yeah, beautiful creation of the nature. Okay, I'm going to talk about a date. Okay, you might be so much, so much excited, and you might be so much confused as well. Why he is, talking about date? Okay, from Wikipedia, I'm going to talk about date from Wikipedia. Really, that is also a part of our lives that must not be ignored. If the phenomenon that we consider the ultimate truth, that is ignored, then definitely, my friends, we are not born some for something to do. Okay, so we need to first understand about the death, and we need to also accept the reality about that. If we do not, penetrate the understanding or the conception of the death, then definitely, my friends, we are in great dilemma, and uh, we are in great illusion of just seeing the life in only one part of, so if we want to understand life in full form, in full figure, then definitely we need to know about it, we need to know about life, we need to know about um, birth also. So usually what we have, the supposition is that Life is a beautiful journey. Uh, Life is a roller coaster. Life is a struggle. And what is that then? Right? Because that is also the one point that we must meet. So, beautiful people, I'm going to talk about death. en.m.wikipedia.org. This is the platform. This is the genuine site from Wikipedia I am talking about. So, beautiful people, you are welcome once again. Death is the end of life, the irreversible cessation of all biological functions that sustain a living organism. The remains of a former organism normally begins to decompose shortly after death. Death eventually and inevitably occurs in all organisms. Some organisms, such as Turritopsis Dorni, are biologically immortal. However, they can still die from means other than aging. Death is generally applied to whole organisms. The equivalent for individual components of an organism, such as cells or tissues, is necrosis. Something that is not considered an organism, such as virus, can be physically destroyed, but it is not said to die, as a virus is not considered alive in the first place. As of the early 21st century, 56 million people die per year. The most common reason is cardiovascular disease, which is the disease that affects the heart or blood vessels. As of 2020, second, at an estimated total of 109 billion humans have died, or roughly 93.8% of all humans to ever live. A short study of gerontology known as biogerontology seeks to eliminate death by natural aging in humans, often through the application of the natural process found in certain organisms. However, as humans do not have the means to apply this to themselves, they have to use other ways to reach the maximum lifespan for human, often through lifestyle changes such as calorie reduction, dieting, and exercise. The idea of lifespan extension is considered and studied as a way for people to live longer. Determining when a person has definitively died has proven difficult. Initially, death was defined as occurring when breathing and the heartbeat ceased, or status still known as clinical death. However, the development of cardiopulmonary resuscitations CPR meant that such a state was no longer strictly irreversible. Brain death was then considered a more fitting option, but several definitions exist for this. Some people believe that all brain functions must cease. Others believe that even if the brain stem is still alive, the personality and identity are irretrievably irretrievably lost, so therefore the person should be considered entirely dead. Brain death is sometimes used as a legal definition of death for all organisms with a brain. Death can instead be focused on this organ. The cause of the death is usually considered important, and in epist- uh, autostopy. Autostopy can be done. There are many causes from accident to disease. Many cultures and religions have a concept of afterlife that may hold the idea of judgment of a good and bad deeds in one's life. There are also different customs for honoring the body, such as funeral, cremation, or sky burial. After a death in obituary may be posted in a newspaper, and the survived by kin and friends usually go through the grieving processes. Problems of definition. The concept of the death is the key to human understanding of the phenomenon. There are many scientific approaches and various interpretations of the concept. Additionally, the advent of the life-sustaining therapy and the numerous criteria for defining death from both a medical and legal standpoint from made it difficult to create a single unifying definition. Defining life to define death. One of the challenges in defining death in distinguish it from life as a point in life. Death seems to refer to the moment when life ends. Determining when death has occurred is difficult as cessation of life functions is often not simultaneous across organ systems. Such determination therefore requires drawing precise conceptual boundaries between life and death. This is difficult due to this being little consensus on how to define life. It is possible to define life in terms of consciousness. When consciousness ceases, an organism can be said to have died. One of the flaws in this approach is that there are many organisms that are alive but probably not conscious. Another problem is in defining consciousness, which has many different definitions given by modern scientists, psychologists, and philosophers. Additionally, many religious traditions, including Abrahamic and Dharmic traditions, hold that death does not or may not entail the end of consciousness. In certain cultures, death is more of a process than a single event. It implies a slow shift from one spiritual state to another. Other definitions for death focus on the character of cessation of organ, organic functioning and human death, which refers to irreversible loss of personhood. More specifically, death occurs when a living entity experiences irreversible cessation of all functioning. As it pertains to human life, death is irreversible process where someone loses their existence as a person. Definition of a death by heartbeat and breath. Historical attempts to define the exact moment of the human's death have been subjective or imprecise. Death was defined as a cessation of heartbeat, cardiac arrest, and breathing, but development of CPR and prompt defibrillations have rendered that definition inadequate because breathing and heartbeat can sometimes be restarted. This type of death, where circulatory and respiratory arrest happens, is known as circulatory definition of death (CDD). Proponent of the CDD believe this definition is reasonable because a person with a permanent loss of circulatory and respiratory functions would be considered dead. Critics of the definition state that while cessation of these functions may be permanent, it does not mean the situation is irreversible. Because of CPR is applied fast enough, the person could be revived. Thus, the arguments for the against the CDD boil down to defining the actual words permanent and irreversible, which further complicates the challenge of defining death. Furthermore, events casually linked to death in the past no longer kill in all circumstances. Without a functioning heart or lungs, life can sometimes be sustained with a combination of life support devices, organ transplants, and artificial pacemakers. Brain death. Today, we are at the definition of the moment of the death is required. Doctors, coroners usually turn to brain death or biological death to define a person as being dead. People are considered dead when the electrical activity in their brain ceases. It is presumed that an end of electrical activity indicates the end of consciousness. Suspension of consciousness must be permanent and not transient, as occurs during certain sleep stages and especially a coma. In the case of sleep, Electroencephalograms, EEGs, are used to tell the difference. The category of the brain death is seen as the problematic by some scholars. For instance, Dr. Franklin Miller, a senior faculty member at the Department of the Bioethics National Institute of Health, notes by the late 1990s the equation of brain death with the death of the human being was increasingly challenged by scholars based on evidence regarding the array of the biological functioning displayed by patients correctly diagnosed as having this condition who were maintained on mechanical ventilation for substantial periods of a time. These patients maintain the ability to sustain circulation and respiration, control temperature, X-rayed wastage, heal ounce, fight infection, and most dramatically to gestate fetuses in the case of pregnant branded women. While brain death is viewed as problematic by some scholars, there are proponents of it that believe this definition of death is the most reasonable for distinguishing life from death. The reasoning behind the support for this definition is that brain death has a set of criteria that is reliable and reproducible. Also, the brain is crucial in determining our identity or who we are as human beings. Distinctions should be made that brain death cannot be equated with one in a vegetative state or coma, in that the former situation describes a state that is beyond recovery. EEGs can dictate spurious electrical impulses, while certain drugs, hypoglycemia, hypoxia, or hypothermia, can suppress or even stop brain activity temporarily. Because of this, hospitals have protocols for determining brain death involving EEGs at widely separated intervals under defined conditions. Neocortical brain death. People maintaining that only the neocortex of the brain is necessary for consciousness sometimes argue that only electrical activities would be considered when defining death. Eventually, the criterion for death may be the permanent and irreversible loss of cognitive function, as evidenced by the death of cerebral cortex. All hope of recovering human thought and personality is then gone, given current of foreseeable medical technology. Even by whole brain criteria, the determination of the brain death can be complicated. Total brain death. Actually, my friend, I today I'm so much, I'm so much interested to make you, give you information about death, because most of we all human beings one day and need to, experience the death. And at the same time, you people and we all people have experienced losing our one near and dear ones. And actually, what I want to give the message today is that the information that might be given by the researchers regarding the death in different perspective, from different perspective, right, from the spiritual perspective, from religious perspective. Right now I'm taking the information from Wikipedia, and that information are especially giving the information from the perspective of a medical point of view, like brain death, and what is EEZ, and what is vegetative and coma form of these are some of the terms that I am also learning, because I'm also earlier not familiar with such sort of technical jargons, because we are not actually medical person, and the people right now who right now the listeners who are especially they are from medical background, or they are this sort of technical background, they can easily understand. But it's my attempt, and it's my deepest passion of going to different sort of terms, different sort of ideas that you people also should understand, and you people should also be well informed. So I have been going through the information, and at the same time, that means simultaneously I'm also dragging you all people. Okay. Okay, right now, while talking of the time, it's 5:57. Okay, total brain death at present in most places. The more conservative definition of death, irreversible cessation of electrical activity in the whole brain, as opposed. I'm also having green tea. As opposed to just in the neocortex, has been adopted. One example is the Uniform Determination of Death Act. In the United States, in the past, the adaptation of this whole brain definition was a conclusion of the president's Commission for the Study of the Ethical Problems in Medicine and Biomedical and Behavioral Research in 1980. They concluded that this approach to defining death sufficed in reaching a uniform definition nationwide. A multitude of regions were presented to support this definition, including uniformity of standards in law for establishing death, consummation of families' fiscal resources for artificial life support, and legal establishment for equating brain death with death to proceed with organ donation. Problems in medical practice. Aside from the issue of the support of or dispute against brain death, there is another inherent problem in this categorical definition: the variability of its application in medical practice. In 1995, the American Academy of Neurology unestablished the criteria that became the medical standard for diagnosing neurologic death. At that time, three clinical features had to be satisfied to determine irreversible cessation of the total brain, including coma with a clear etiology, cessation of breathing, and lack of brainstem reflexes. These criteria were updated again most recently in 2010, but substantial discrepancies remain across hospitals and medical specialties. Donations. The problem of defining death is especially imperative as it pertains to the death donor rule, which could be understood as one of the following interpretation of the rule: there must be an official declaration of death in a person before starting organ procurement, or that organ procurement cannot result in death of the donor. A great deal of controversy has surrounded the definition of death and death donor rule. Advocates of the rule believe that the rule is legitimate in protecting organ donors, who all well also countering any moral or legal objection to organ procurement. Critics, on the other hand, believe that the rule does not uphold the best interest of the donors, that the rule does not effectively promote organ donation. Okay. Legal. The death of a person has legal consequences that may vary. Jurisdictions. Most countries follow the whole brain death criteria, where all functions of the brain must have completely ceased. However, in other jurisdictions, some follow the brain stem version of the brain death. Afterward, a death certificate is issued in most jurisdictions either by a doctor or by an administrative office. often presentation of the doctor's declaration of death, misdiagnosis. There are many anecdotal references to people being declared dead by physicians and then coming back to life, sometimes days later in their coffin or when embalming procedures are about to begin. From the mid 18th century onwards, there was an upsurge in the public sphere of being mistakenly buried alive and much debate about the uncertainty of the signs of death. Various suggestions were made to test for signs of the life before burial, ranging from pouring vinegar and paper into the corpse's mouth to applying red hot pokers to the feet or into the rectum. While writing in 1895, the physician Jesse Owsley claimed that as many as 2,700 people were buried prematurely each year in England and Wales, although some estimates peg the figure to be closer to 800. In cases of electric shock, cardiopulmonary resuscitation for an hour or longer can allow stunned norms to recover, allowing an apparently dead person to survive. People found unconscious under icy water may survive if their faces are kept continuously cold until they arrive at an emergency room. This diving response, in which metabolic activity and oxygen requirements are minimal, is something humans share with cetaceans called the mammalian diving reflex. As medical technologies advance, ideas about when death occurs may have to be reevaluated in light of the ability to restore a person to vitality after longer periods of apparent death, as happened when CPR and defibrillation, so that the cessation of a heartbeat is inadequate as a decisive indicator of death. The lack of electrical brain activity may not be enough to consider someone scientifically dead. Therefore, the concept of information theoretic death has been suggested as a better means of defining when true death occurs. Through the concept has few practical applications outside the field of cryonics causes. The leading cause of death is developing countries is infectious disease. The leading causes in developed countries are atherosclerosis, heart disease, and stroke, cancer, and other diseases related to obesity and aging. By an extremely wide margin, the largest unifying cause of death in the developed world is biological aging, leading to various complications known as aging associated disease. These conditions cause loss of hemostasis, leading to cardiac arrest, causing loss of oxygen and nutrient supply, causing irreversible deterioration of the brain and other tissues. Of the roughly 150,000 people who die each day across the globe, about two-thirds die of the age-related causes. In industrialized nations, the proportion is much higher, approaching 90%. With improved medical capability, dying has become a condition to be managed. In developing nations, inferior sanitary conditions and lack of access to modern medical technology make death for infectious disease more common than in developed countries. One such disease is tuberculosis, a bacterial disease that killed 1.8 million people in 2015. In 2004, malaria caused about 2.7 million deaths annually. The AIDS death toll in Africa may reach 90 to 100 million by 2025. According to Jean Jackler, the United Nations Special Reporter on the Right to Food 2000, March 2008, mortality due to malnutrition accounted for 58 6% of the total mortality rate in 2006 declares age. Worldwide, approximately 62 million people died from all causes, and of those deaths, more than 36 million died of hunger or disease due to deficiencies in micronutrients. Tobacco smoking killed 100 million people worldwide in 20th century and could kill 1 billion people worldwide in 21st century, a World Health Organization report warned. No. Many leading developed world causes of death can be postponed by diet and physical activity, but the accelerating incidence of death with age still imposes limits on human longevity. The evolutionary cause of aging is at best only beginning to be understood. It has been suggested that direct intervention in the aging process may now be the most effective intervention against major causes of death. Sally proposed a unified, non-specific approach to many causes of death. He demonstrated that stress decreases the adaptability of an organism and proposed to describe adaptability as a special resource adaptation energy. Thank you, my friends, who are there waiting for me and patiently they are for me listening and penetrating your eyes of rain and eyes of your heart have helped me a lot. So my friend, I will definitely gonna continue because I have some urgent tasks to be performed right now, and today I am in the position to speak, or let's say discuss about the date from the perspective of medical, the Persian, okay, Persian and spiritual, from every perspective I want to learn that, and at the same time I also request my beautiful people be there and know more about what actually that is and what might be some of the temporary precaution to prolong our longevity of our life. Okay, thank you so much. Stay always blessed.